Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of eMoment. I'm your host Sensi Diallo, sitting in with Aminata Ndiaye.
Hello Sensi, hello everyone, and thank you for being with us.
Here are the headlines news.
BBC reporter accuses Alioune Sall of corruption. A massive volume of livestock stolen. 40 young Bissau-Guinean arrested in Fradjanto, Senegal. In Sudan, African UN membership suspended. A dramatic rise in African migrants arriving at US border these past 3 weeks. South Africa alerts after 14 lions escaped from national park. CAF. President Ahmad questioned by French authorities. FIFA. CAF decides to recall the final return of the Champions League. Sadio Mane wins the 11 d'Or 2019 for the best player. Adama Paris comes back this year with her renowned Fashion Week Dakar. And finally, in health, we will be talking about ginger and its benefits.
eMoment National News.
A supposed corruption scandal is shaking Senegal up to its presidency. Aliou Sall, the brother of President Macky Sall, allegedly benefited from a bribe of over $25,000 monthly in return for the allocation of oil and gas concessions in the Senegalese waters, according to a BBC report on Sunday, June 2nd. If the Petro-Tim affair has been known for years in Senegal, the British television goes further by claiming to hold confidential documents which for the first time will support these suspicions of corruption. To understand the scope of this affair that swims on social networks under the hashtag PetroGasGate, we must return in 2011. Senegal has not yet discovered its vast offshore gas fields and the race to explore beats its full. It is in this context that the Petro-Tim company, almost unknown in the oil industry, wins from the government 2 offshore concessions of 17,000 square kilometers. Still, this company does not have the technical means or the funds necessary to probe potential gas deposits, which questions this choice. While other more experienced actors competed, Petro-Tim hides the name of an Austro-Romanian businessman with an obscure past. Frank Timis has led several mining companies and attended African heads of state from Burkina Faso to Sierra Leone. Philippe Caldwell, his former wealth manager, who created a secret offshore trust for his parent company, Timis Corporation, reveals in a report that Frank Timis likes to call himself the godfather of West Africa. Between Petro-Tim and the Senegalese government, a first agreement was signed on December 8, 2011, while President Abdoulaye Wade was still in office. In March 2012, a new head of state, Macky Sall, was elected, partly for his program against corruption as a system of governance. Despite an investigation by the Inspectorate General of State revealing that Petro-Tim did not meet the conditions for obtaining a permit for research and exploration of hydrocarbons, Macky Sall signed the decrees in June 2012 in the name of continuity of the state. A month later, his brother Aliou Sall, already a consultant for Frank Timis, is named country manager of Petro-Tim. In response to this report, both Aliou Sall and the general director of BP have completely denied these allegations.
The acquisition of Timis Corporation shares of Frank Timis by BP would rise, according to the issue, to $250 million, is about 150 billion francs CFA. I specify that I'm not aware of such a transaction. I have never met a BP member, and I consider that if such a contribution existed, it would concern only these 2 entities. Aliou Sall has nothing to do in such reports.
While the Director General of BP states that it has carefully reviewed the recent history of BBC Panorama and vigorously rejects this misleading representation of their activities in Senegal. BP firmly rejects any suggestion that it reacted inappropriately during the acquisition of Timis Corporation's share in Senegal in April 2017. BP also goes on to call this allegation absurd and highly exaggerated. eMoment conducted an interview with Mr. Ibrahim Sane, who used to work with BBC, who gave us some clarification regarding his take on the issue.
I think we must commend Annie Jones for undertaking this investigation, to be honest. But I have a problem with the way she conducted her documentary. And she didn't have enough distance with facts. And she seemed to be embarked on confirming her conviction that there was corruption, that there was embezzlement and things like that. I mean, even the experts who were interviewed were never questioned, and it was taken for granted that everything they were saying was good. I mean, she never questioned and never asked anything that could hurt an opponent or hurt an expert. She just went along with them, whatever they said, and that is the problem. She did not convince me. She could have had an interview with people who did not have the same point of view, and we didn't hear those people, and that approach for me cannot be condoned. I think for his own sake he should step down, for his own sake, and for his brother's sake he should step down. He should simply say, look, I am a problem, whether fairly or unfairly, nothing to do with it, but I am a problem. I'm stepping down. I lived in a country, which is Britain, where these matters are taken very seriously. If you're accused of something, you just step down. And then once it's clear, you can come back.
As of Friday, June 7th, Mr. Aliou Sall states that he has no intention of stepping down and will be filing charges by next week.
E-Moment on iRADIO 90.3.
Tension is high in the border zone between the populations of the villages of Fadjanto, Senegal, in Yarang Commune and their neighbors in Kissi, Bissau Guinea. The latter are accused of mass robbery occurred on Wednesday, the day of the celebration of Korité, breaking the fast. In retaliation the next day, the Senegalese plaintiffs, after several hours of unsuccessful search in Guinea, brought 25 heads of oxen home. It was reported that the same day, 40 young Guineans armed with homemade rifles and cut cutters came to take back their cattle by force, but were neutralized by the Senegalese Defense and Security Forces. Jean-Séraphin Mané, a member of the Watchdog Committee against the cattle theft at Fadjanto, Senegal, says that massive animal theft is without respite in this border strip. Determined, he argues that the consigned oxen will not be returned until the stolen sheep are returned to their owners, a point of view that he shares with Sa Kamara, the village chief at the locality in question. Very concerned, Ousmane Massali, the mayor of Yarang, said that dozens of oxen stolen in his territorial community less than a month ago have still not been found. As firefighter Khalifa Dramé, the chairman of the Cross-Border Commission to fight cattle theft in Balantakunda, intervenes to extinguish the fire, urging reciprocity of the return of animals too. He says that the momentum for building peace in the border zone is unhindered.
E-Moment International News.
Sudan has seen its most violent week since the ousting of President Omar al-Bashir in April. The Pan-African body has warned of further action if power is not transferred to a civilian authority, a key demand of pro-democracy protesters. Residents said pro-government militia were all over the capital of Khartoum. The violence intensified on Monday when security forces stormed a weeks-long sit-in outside military headquarters in the capital. The African Union has suspended Sudan's membership with immediate effect, amid an upsurge of violence in the capital that has seen dozens killed. Opposition activists say a paramilitary group has killed 108 people this week, but officials put the figure at 46. The African Union Peace and Security Council has with immediate effect suspended the participation of the Republic of Sudan in all African Union activities until the effective establishment of a civilian-led transitional authority, as the only way to allow the Sudan to exit from the current crisis, the African Union tweeted on Thursday. The decision was made unanimously by members at an emergency meeting of the African Union in Addis Ababa that lasted more than 5 hours. As of the latest, the Sudanese authorities spoke out for the first time on Thursday about the death toll, denying that it was as high as 100 and claiming it was at most 46. Doctors linked to the opposition say the figure is as high as 108, and that 40 bodies were pulled from the Nile River in Khartoum on Tuesday. The deputy head of the military council, Mohamed Hamadan, defended the violence suppression, claiming that the protesters had been infiltrated by rogue elements and drug dealers.
iRADIO 90.3.
U.S. Border Patrol agents in Texas have detained hundreds of people from African countries over the past week. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol says that the dramatic rise in migrants from African countries arriving in the area has become an humanitarian crisis. More than 500 African migrants have arrived at Del Rio Border Patrol sector in the past week. Most of these people are families that have traveled from Angola, Cameroon, and the Republic of Congo, the Border Patrol says. Last week, one large group of 116 people who had all originally traveled from African countries arrived at the southern border. In a statement, Del Rio Sector's Chief Patrol Agent Raul El Ortiz said that language barriers and cultural differences were also placing additional burdens on processing stations. Many of the migrants have also traveled on to San Antonio, Texas, some 240 kilometers from Del Rio. A spokeswoman for San Antonio City's government told BBC News that they were operating a resource center for those traveling and have partnered up with local charities to provide people with necessities such as food and shelter. The city is in desperate need for French-speaking volunteers, and local centers accept up to 300 more migrants to arrive in the next few days.
E-Moment International News.
Residents of northeastern South Africa are urged to exercise caution and vigilance in a statement by provincial government of Limpopo, reports the press. The reason for this warning was the escape of 14 lions who had left Kruger National Park and dispersed into the wild. Research is underway to find the big cats. According to Ike Pala of South African National Parks, who spoke to the national TV channel SABC, these lions may have been living in the area for some time and a permanent solution is being found. However, he warns that bringing them back to Kruger might not work because they could clash with other lions.
E-Moment Sports.
The Confederation of African Football has decided to replay the final return of the Champions League between Esperance Tunis and Wydad Casablanca, which was interrupted last week after a failure of arbitration on a decision contentious. The match will be replayed on a neutral ground, probably in South Africa or Egypt after the CAN. Led by 1-0, Wydad AC was denied a goal for a non-existent offside. The Gambian referee of the meeting, Pape Bakary Gassama, had not appealed to the VAR because it was not working. The players of the Moroccan club refused to resume the match, which was then interrupted. A first decision was made to give the title to the Tunisian club before this new twist. To avoid this type of odd in the future editions, the CAF has also decided to play the final on a single match by ending the come and go so far applied.
E-Moment on iRADIO 90.3.
On Thursday, FIFA has confirmed that the president of the African Football Corporation, Ahmed, was arrested by the Central Office for the fight against corruption, financial and tax offenses in Paris, where he was attending the FIFA Congress. It is reportedly in connection with the contract that CAF terminated with German equipment manufacturer Puma in favor of Technical Steel. Among the allegations are claims Ahmed forced CAF to buy sportswear through a French company rather than directly from manufacturers and at inflated prices. Ahmed is accused of having influenced this decision, standing to be rewarded with up to $830,000. He has denied the allegations. Reports of Ahmed's arrest come hardly a day after CAF took a decision to cancel the African Champions League win by Esperance Tunis and order a replay of the second leg match against Morocco's Wydad Casablanca. The Tunisian club has since denounced Ahmed as incompetent and corrupt, vowing to appeal against the CAF decision with relevant international bodies. As of Friday, the president of the Confederation of African Football, Ahmed, has been released without charges at this stage. Prosecutor Xavier Tarabeu from the French city of Marseille added that Ahmed was questioned as part of a probe into corruption, breach of trust, and forgery. FIFA is unaware of the details surrounding this investigation and is therefore not in a position to make any comment on it specifically. FIFA is also asking the French authorities for any information that might be relevant to investigations taking place within its ethics committee.
E-Moment Sports.
A first individual reward for Sadio Mane. He won the 2019 All-Star for the best player. He is the first African player to win this distinction since Drogba in 2004. This year, nearly 200,000 people voted for the All-Star 2019, leading from start to finish. Sadio Mane finished ahead of Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe. Author of an exceptional season, the Senegalese international was logically rewarded by the readers of 11 Mondial, explained the magazine specialized in football and its site. Winner of the Champions League, co-top scorer in the Premier League, Sadio had the best season of his career.
Wow, that's great news, Aminata. Congratulations to Sadio Mane, and we are very proud of him.
Yes, definitely we are proud of him, but unfortunately our Lion Cubs team were eliminated yesterday against South Korea by a penalty shootout.
Oh, that's very sad because they played really well and they tried very hard. So hopefully in the next 4 years they will be coming very much harder.
We hope so.
E-moment, culture.
This week's spotlight is Adama Amanda Ndiaye, aka Adama Paris. Since the Fashion Week is going on, here is her portrait with Stephanie Basugalopo.
Adama Amanda Ndiaye was born in Kinshasa, Zaire, then raised in Europe where her parents were diplomats. She also goes by the name Adama Paris, which is also the name of the label she owns and operates. Her pieces, which are manufactured in Morocco, can be found internationally, including in New York City, Tokyo, London, and Paris. She left a banking career in Europe to pursue fashion design in her native country. Africa had a long history of design, but struggled for mainstream acceptance, and raising capital for her business was difficult. In order to expand the visibility of African design, Adama Paris created the Dakar Fashion Week exhibition. By 2012, the 10th year of the show, it attracted 30 designers from 9 countries in Africa and Asia, with audience members coming from all around the world, and had an operating budget of more than 80 million francs CFA. She has also organized Black Fashion Week events in Prague, Czech Republic, and Bahia, Brazil. In 2013, her television channel Fashion Africa Channel was born to promote African fashion. The fashion star who commutes between Los Angeles, Paris, and Dakar is a born girl whose achievements will not have a limit. Her designs are inspired by cities and globalism. In an interview with Vogue Italia, she stated, "Much of my inspiration comes from the big cities. My aim was, and still, is sharing with all modern women one fashion without borders." Adama Paris has noted that among many African nations, religious objections have made designers unable to practice their profession. She credits the generally tolerant culture of Senegal for providing a supportive environment. She has also spoken out with other African designers for increased funding and access to credit from government in order to foster innovation and job creation in the fashion industry. This year marks her 17th Fashion Week Dakar. It started since June 5th all the way to the 9th. The event is rich with various designers, fashion shows at different locations around town, and several after parties that you will enjoy if you are in Dakar for this summer. Well, Sensei and Aminata, it looks like she officially started summer.
Well, she definitely has. I mean, much success to her, and I hope she keeps going and will keep attending all of the fashion weeks and will keep being inspired.
E-moment, health.
Alright, in health, we will talk about ginger, which is a very popular ingredient in cooking, and especially in Asian and Indian cuisine. It has also been used for thousands of years for medicinal purposes. The root or underground stem of the ginger plant can be consumed fresh, powdered, dried as a spice, in oil form, or as juice. It is commonly produced in India, Jamaica, Fiji, Indonesia, and Australia. For digestion, it is suggested that ginger could help prevent colon cancer and constipation. Chewing raw ginger or drinking ginger tea is a common home remedy for nausea. It is also safe to consume during pregnancy to relieve it. During cold weather, drinking ginger tea is a good way to keep warm. It is diaphoretic, which means that it promotes sweating, working to warm the body from within, so it's good for cold and flu relief. Ginger has also been found to reduce the symptoms of dysmenorrhea, the severe pain that some women experience during a menstrual cycle. It is generally good for pain reduction. More research is needed, but if proven, ginger could become part of a treatment for heart disease and diabetes. Other possible uses include reducing cholesterol, lowering the risk of blood clotting, and helping to maintain healthy blood sugar levels. Finally, in general nutrition, spice and cookings, ginger provides a variety of vitamins and minerals. It pairs well with many different types of seafood, oranges, melon, chicken, pumpkin, and apples, to name a few. When buying fresh ginger, always look for a root with a smooth, taut skin with no wrinkles and a spicy aroma.
Quote of the week on eMoment.
So Aminata, what is the inspiration for this quote of the week?
Well, Sansi, with everything that Sadio Mane has accomplished this year, we could not have chosen a better person for this week's quote.
Sports have the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire, the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sports can create hope where there was once only despair. It is more powerful than government in breaking down racial barriers. It laughs in the face of all types of discrimination. Sports is the game of lovers. Nelson Mandela.
That's it for this week's eMoment. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Aminata.
Thank you, Sensi. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And I would like to thank Mamadou Kassé for the translation.
Thanks to our producer, Stephanie Basugalupo, and on the technical side, Maxime Sen. We will catch you on the next week's eMoment.